Hi everyone, today I have another video for you that includes the UP Luffy, Monkey D. Luffy leader, blue purple. And this is just another deck list that I came across. This is the Dofi package, right? On my last video, I was running the Mihawk package, Mihawk Rush package per se, right? And this time around, I thought I'd make a video on the Doflamingo package, and that includes a couple Don Quixote Pirates cards. But let's get right into the deck list. For those of you who don't know, Monkey D. Luffy is a 3-life leader, blue purple, with 6,000 power, and the leader ability is at the start of your turn you can activate the effect. If you have 8 or more Dawn cards on the field, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Straw Hat Crew type card, and then add it to your hand. Then place the remaining cards at the top or bottom of your deck in any order. So, you know, all of you basically know what UP Luffy does, since it was such a BDIF in OP12 pre-ban, right? So first up we have our first card. It's the 4-cost Charlotte Pudding, of course. Now, I only run one of these. I was thinking of adding 2 just because with some of the current leaders, they do get really large hand sizes, especially coming into OP13, but we're not going against any OP13 leaders. Today, most of the games that I'm going to be showing you is against OP12, so like West meta, you know, leaders. Anyways, on to the next card. It's obviously the 5-cost Nami, Straw Hat Crew. It's a blocker with 6,000 power and 1,000 counter. On play, if your leader is multicolored, draw 3 cards and place 2 cards from your hand at the top or bottom of your deck in any order. So like a leader effect kind of on play, right? And we run 4 of those. Next up, we have our Rush 8-cost Luffy with 8,000 power. When attacking, trash 1 card from your hand, return up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less to the owner's hand, and then you give 1 rested Dawn to your leader or character. Only run 2 of those. It was 3 at one point in time while I was playing some games with this deck, or fiddling around with this deck, I should say. And it was at 3 at one point, but then I realized that I should probably up the Doflamingo cards, which we'll get to in a sec. And so that's what I did in exchange of having 3 or 4. But anyways, we have the 9-cost 9,000 power Sanji. On play, reveal the top card on your deck, and you may put it into play if it's a cost 9 or less other than Sanji. There's not much to say here. This is your bread and butter, right? To bring out your combos, to bring out your 8-cost Doflamingos. But let's go more into the cards. Your first ramp option is going to be Zoro. 3-cost 4,000 power. When attacking, if you have 3 or less life, add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and set it as active. So really good ramp early in the game. Next up, we have our first 2K. It's going to be Usohachi. Very good 2K. One of my favorites. It's a 3-cost 3,000 power with 2,000 counter. If you have 8 or more Dawn on play, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. So you can get around most enemies' blockers, right? If they have some up and you're trying to go for a game, you can play this, or just use it as a regular 2K counter. Now, our next ramp option, aside from Zoro Juro, is going to be Mr. 2 Bon Cray, 4-cost 1,000 power. On play, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. Now, when attacking, you can copy one of your opponent's characters, and that becomes the base power for this card just during your turn, right? Next 2K, which is our last 2K. We only run 6 2Ks in this deck. I think is it feels kind of off. I'd prefer to have a lot more 2Ks that are useful, but you know, there's only so much space you can have. And so our last 2 2Ks are going to be the 5-cost 4,000 power for Nosuke. You attach Dawn ×1, and if you have 8 or more Dawn on the field, the character gains Rush. Now we're going to go into the main bread and butter of this deck, starting off with the 8-cost Don Quixote Doflamingo. Alright, this is the main card you're gonna be trying to hit your Sanji with. It's an 8-cost 9,000 power. On play, Dawn -1, play up to 1 5-cost or lower, Don Quixote Pirates type character card from your hand. And then on your opponent's turn, once per turn, you can rest one of your Dawn and add 1 active Dawn from your Dawn deck, right? So it's easier to minus your Dawn in this deck than it is with any other kind of build. And next up is the 5-cost, which you're gonna play off of the 8-cost. This is the only one you can play off the 8-cost. cost, as a matter of fact, which is why these are the bread and butter cards, right? It's the 5 cost, 6,000 power Don Quixote Rocinante, and it's on play, trash 1 event card from your hand and draw 2 cards. And at the end of your turn, if you have 7 or more Don cards, you can set 2 of them as active. Really good ability at the end of turn there. I really enjoyed this package right here, you know, but let's get to the rest of the cards. We got our tech options here. We got the 6 cost Gum Gum Red Rock, of course, bottom deck a opponent's character, right? Any character. Next up is the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. We only run 1 of each. 1 Red Rock, 1 Raging Tiger, and this is the 7 cost main. Place up to 2 cost 6 or less characters at the bottom of the owner's deck. And now on to our counters, our event cards, our other event cards, I should say, sorry. First up is Gum Gum Giant. Of course, it's a staple for this deck, or any purple Straw Hat deck. Essentially, this is a staple in. It's a 1 cost Don -2. Trash 1 card from your hand, and you give up to one of your leaders or characters plus 4,000 power and draw 2 cards. Very powerful. Next up is our third ramp option, which is this 1 cost Gear 2 main. Rest 2 of your Don cards, so a total of 3 Don. It costs 3 Don. And if your leader is blue, you can add 1 Don card from your Don deck rested. So you get you ramp 1 essentially, right? And it's a 3,000 power counter. Good staple in this deck, right? Next up, we have the 2 cost, which is our final ramp option, if you want to count it as that. The 2 cost Thunder Bagua. Okay, if you get it from trigger, it's add 1 Don card from your Don deck and set it as active, but we only run 3 of these, so you know you'd be fairly lucky to get it from trigger. And the counter goes, your leader or up to 1 of your characters gains plus 4,000 power during this battle. Then if you have 2 or less life cards, add 1 Don card from your Don deck and rest it. Now, the reason why I say you barely get to use this is because the way I currently play blue-purple, since we have no heal option, right, is to essentially just counter out all the attacks early as you can, because you're not going to be able to counter out as effectively in the later rounds once they have bigger bodies, once your opponent has bigger bodies, right? So it's still a good tech option there. Thunder Bagua. Our last 2 cards, first up, it's going to be Hell's Judgment. I like this addition to UP Luffy, especially because of the Don Quixote Rocinante, and you know, just a Don Quixote package in general lets you utilize your Don better. So this is a 2 cost Don -1. For those of you who don't know, it's up to 2 of your opponent's leaders or characters minus 3,000 power this turn. All right, and the trigger is if your opponent has 6 or more Don cards, your opponent returns 1 of their Don cards. Okay, most of the time you just want to use this for the counter, not the trigger. Our last card for this deck is going to be the 5 cost God Thread. Trigger, add up to 1 active Don from your Don deck. Otherwise, its main is just a KO a 5 cost or less character. One of your opponent's 5 cost or less characters, sorry. Then add 1 active Don from your Don deck. So you get an active Don from this, unlike the Thunder Bagua where you get a rested Don, right? All in all, I think this is the main combo for this deck is, right, you get your Sanjis, you line up the Doflamingo, and you want the Rocinante in hand. Okay, so once you play the Sanji, you play the Doflamingo, then you play the Rocinante, and that's 3 cards on the board instantly. All right, and on top of that, you get to use all your Don because of Rocinante's end of turn ability. If you have 7 or more Don cards, set 2 of them as active. That gives you space for Thunder Bagua. That gives you space for 2 Gear 2s, 2 Gum Gum Giants, or a Gum Gum Giant and a Gear 2, or even Hell's Judgment if you really need it, right? So very decent deck list. You know, like I said a while ago, the deck list I found this on, I think it was on Top Decks, and the only difference was that the person was running one more 8 cost Monkey D. Luffy and only running 3 of these. But I think to be consistent with a Don Quixote package, you want 4 of each, right? So you have a higher chance of getting them. Anyways, this is the blue-purple Don Quixote package deck list that I have for you guys today, and so let's get right into the games. Okay, everyone, we have our first game. It is going to be against Green Zoro, right? Really good meta contender in OP12. So let's go ahead and get right into it. We keep this because we do have a Gear 2 ramp. We have the Zoro Juro, we have the Bon Cray, and we have a couple blockers to set us up. So really decent start. You can't complain there. Now we're on our 1 Dawn turn. We pass it over. They do a search with their Perona and pick up a Mihawk. We play out the Zoro Juro and attack for 6. They take. Now they play out the Koala since they're on their 4 Dawn turn. Rest our Zoro Juro, attack into it. We let it go, of course, attack into us. Now we take. You know, we don't want to counter because the counter that we do have won't be. We couldn't even. We don't want to waste those cards, right? So easy to take there. We get Hell's Judgment. We don't use the trigger, and now we do have the start of a Don Quixote package in our hand. So we're at 5 Dawn. All right, I think we ramp up here is a good solution. Yep, ramp up, gain 1 active, and attack into the Koala to get rid of it. So they have to play another one if they want to get rid of our Bon Cray. All right, so that's perfect. Too bad we don't have an extra Dawn. We just pass it over. Hell's Judgment is available to us, and so is Gear 2, right? So they bring out the Cavendish, bring 2 active Dawn. They attach 3, swing for 8. We counter out with a Gear 2. 9k easy. We draw into a 2k. We're now at 8 Dawn, I'm pretty sure. So we bring out the Doflamingo. -1 Dawn, we bring out the Rosinante, trash 1 card. We get rid of the Hell's Judgment. We go ahead and swing into the leader for 6, and then we copy Cavendish with Bon Cray and attack for 6 again. They counter out of the first one, and they also counter out of this, I'm pretty sure. Yep, perfect, and we pass it back over to them. Restand 2 active Dawn. Now we can't really use it on anything, we don't have events in our hands, but still really great end of turn ability. Now we wait for what they're gonna do. I think they play the Mihawk out here, right? If they don't have the Mihawk, then another bet would be to, what other cards can they have? Yeah, it's the Mihawk for sure. So they bring out the Mihawk. All right, they attach 3 or 4 Dawn, right? So they attack into the Bon Cray first. We let that go. We're not going to defend it, of course. We use the ability, of course, of Doflamingo, right? And that's to rest 1 of our active Dawn to gain 1 active Dawn. So in turn, we're ramping up closer to 10 now. So we let this go. All right. They attack into us with the Cavendish, by the way. They restand 2, so they're at 6 extra Dawn now. They go ahead and play out the Kushiro to protect their board along with the Mihawk to protect it, and they go for 9. We counter out 2 2Ks, that's 10. You know, we're still at 2 life, we're pretty healthy, so all's well. They pass it back over to us. We're able to use our leader ability now, right? And so here we're thinking this isn't really a good top deck. All right, we already have 2 Namis. There's a 3rd one there. There's a Gear 2 and a Franosuke and a Pudding. We don't really need Pudding. They only have 4 cards in hand. I think a good bet here is to grab the Gravity Blade after grabbing the Gear 2, of course. Grab the Gear 2, place it on top, take the Gravity Blade, and then get rid of the Cavendish and the Kushiro, because that's 1 less blocker and that's 1 less character that gives them active Dawn. Perfect. So I think we do that. Yep. 10 Dawn, send 2 6 costs. Luckily, Kushiro is only for when you KO a character, not bottom deck it. So that's why we did that too. Now we go 6k, they take. We attach 2 to Rosinante, we swing for 8. And remember, at the end of our turn, it doesn't matter how many Dawn we use right now, we still get 2 active Dawn at the end of the turn. So we attack for 8, they take this one, okay, and we swing for 10. And of course they block out and counter, okay, save their Mihawk. Now they're down to 4 cards in hand. I think they know they don't want to be puddinged. We activate 2 more Dawn. That leaves us enough room with the Gear 3 and 2 2Ks. I mean 2 1Ks, sorry. Now I think they play another Mihawk here. Yep, that's their best bet. And then attach the rest of that Dawn into Zoro to hit the Doflamingo. But I think the Rosinante is a better target here. And I do think they go for the Rosinante. Yep, they do go for the Rosinante. And we take. We're not gonna, you know, fight it. There's no reason to counter out. We can't even counter out. We take. Now they attack again into us. We take this. All right. No reason to. We get a God Thread, but there's no need. All right. So we use our leader ability. And now notice, our top deck isn't that good either, so we place it at the bottom. We take the 2k, place the rest at the bottom, and then we get the Monkey D. Luffy Rush from top deck. Play out the Nami, put 2 on the bottom, and that's the Thunder Bagua, I'm pretty sure, and the God Thread, right? No, it's the Monkey D. Luffy Rush and the God Thread, yep. So, place it on the bottom. I think we play out another blocker here just to be safe. Okay, we have our Rosinante. Now we just need the Doflamingo from our top deck. Now, we place this on the bottom. Alright, we get rid of one Gum Gum Giant, and then I think the Thunder Bagua now, yep. Swing for 6, they block out, or they should be blocking out here. And then we swing 9 into the Mihawk. We can't activate any more Dawn, but that's why we have 2 blockers. So, they let this go, which tells me they don't have counter in hand, which is good for us, great for us. Now they play out the Hashira, they rest both of our Namis, okay? They swing into us for 3. Now here I'm thinking they do have the restand. It's going to be hard to counter out of this, but they attack first, of course we let that go. Attack into us, we counter out, no reason to go to 0 life. Counter, we get rid of the Rosinante. They swing into us with their Mihawk leader before restanding, or they were just baiting us. So we take that last hand, okay, done. They have the restand, they attack into us again, and we counter with the 2k, 1k. Good for us, perfect. We use the card action, we have the Doflamingo on top. We take the Fernosuke here, or the Gum Gum Giant's also good. Place it on top, take the Gum Gum Giant first, and then we can play out the Nami with our 9 cost Sanji, right? So, if we really need to. But we attach 1 Dawn to our Luffy, swing for 7, perfect. Then we swing for 9. Oh, we do swing for 7 again. They counter out of this, of course they would. I think we should have swung for 9 first there, and then swung the rest in, but we go for 9 here, and then we do the Rush Luffy, right? Swing in, trash card, attach 1 rested, so it becomes 9. They don't have any blockers, and they don't have any counter, right? All they have is a restand, a Mihawk, and 2 Peronas. So, that was played really well. I think towards the end there, I would have attacked differently just a tiny bit. I think that I was going for game there, right? There's no reason not to go for game there, especially because we have 0 life, and they did have their restand, so we would have been screwed anyways, right? So 7, I think 9 would have been fine, and then they wouldn't have countered out of that. We would have gone 8 and attach the rest of our Dawn to the Luffy, including 1 rested, and that would have been game. So anyways, all in all, good game to our opponent here. Green Zoro. We'll go on to the next one. Okay, everyone, we have our second game here. It's against Yellow Enel. Really good deck, really fun deck. We get a 2 ramp options, a 2k, one of our Doflamingos, 2 2ks actually, one of our Doflamingos in hand. And I think this is good to keep. We're going first. We took first. So take 1, pass. They don't do anything either. We gain 1 rested with the gear 2, pass it back over. We don't want to attack into them too early just because we don't want them to have cards, right? We don't want them to be able to cycle early, and also because of the fact that I don't have a pudding and I want to wait for the pudding to be able to use it, you know, at the most opportune time. So we pass it. They're at their 4 cost. I think they swing into us here with all Dawn, right? Otherwise, I think they play a blocker, but I think they just swing. Yeah, swing for 6. We counter out with one of our Bon Crays. Yep, they pass it back over. They should have swung full. You know, they should have swung with all 3 Dawn cards if they weren't going to do anything. That would have been 9k to us, and I think we would have taken that. So, we play out the Bon Cray ramp 1. Alright, now we have 3 active Dawn. We attach 2. Okay, I think attach 2 or 3 now. So yeah, we continue to not attack. I don't think we attack until we have at least 2 big bodies on board, right? So we pass it back over to them, right? They play out the Gadatsu. They can't KO our Bon Cray, however, because we're only at 3 life, right? We're still at 3 life, I should say. And so they were able to develop a body. That's fine. We're at 9 Dawn now. I don't think we play out the Doflamingo here. And this is the game that I was talking about a while ago. I think I bring out the Sanji here. But I could also potentially bring the Doflamingo out. And this is the Sanji where I get gear 2 And so it was just a weird risk I was willing to take because I wanted to develop bigger bodies, and I wanted to wait for the Rosinante with my 8-cost Doflamingo, right? There was other opportune plays there we could have done, like play the 5-cost Nami and then swing bigger into their leader, but I think you know, it's not too bad wasting one Sanji because we're also really healthy, 3 life. We don't attack again because we only have one big body on board, right? So they use the Red Hawk, right? Gum Red Hawk, the 1-cost yellow event to get rid of our Boncray. Too bad, we should have attacked with it, but all's well in hindsight. Now they attack into us for 9. We counter out with 2 2Ks just because we want to stay healthy at 3. We see the Rosinante. We take the Red Rock here because we know they rely on their big bodies, so it'll be nice to get rid of their first big body, right? Take the Rosinante to draw. We take that and play out the Doflamingo. Once we play out the Doflamingo, we get the Rosinante out. We don't trash. We don't use that ability yet. We swing for 8 here, I'm pretty sure, right? Might as well attach 2 since we activate 2 Dawn at the end. Swing for 8 and then swing for 9. That leaves them at 2 life, and we have 3 bodies on board for next turn. Unless they, you know, get rid of our Sanji, but they get the Kikunojo from trigger. Good for them. We active 2 Dawn at the end of our turn, pass it over. They play the Yamato, and because we have a total of 5 life, they're able to KO the Rosinante. Too bad. Good thing we were able to use it though. Now we use the card action here to ramp 1, so now we're fully at 10, and we just take. No reason to counter. I think we do counter out of this one because we want to remain healthy, and then take this one. We're at 1 life, and so we take the rush here, and I think we place this on the bottom, but I think it's okay to place this on top too. That way we can play out the Doflamingo. Oh yeah, no. I'm completely wrong. I forgot that I had the Rosinante. The opportune time to play the Sanji is now. Draw into the Zoro, play the Sanji, play the Doflamingo, and then play the Rosinante. So that's 5 bodies on board instantly. Isn't that crazy? So we don't trash an event here. Alright. We swing into their bodies just to get rid of them so they don't attack into us anymore. Get rid of the Gidatsu first. I think they take this, and then we swing 9 into the Kiku. I think they take this and heal 1. I'm pretty sure that's what they do here. Yeah, and then we swing 9 again into the leader. They take, we pass this back over, activate 2 Dawn, we have 3 Dawn. Now, really there isn't anything we can use it on, so it was just for show to our opponent, right? We don't have any blockers on board and they have 2 big bodies. I think if they didn't know what we, you know, because they don't know what we have in hand, they could have totally swung for life here. They could have totally gone lethal, but lucky for us, they had no idea. So they heal 1 with the Port Gas Ace instead, and they pass it back over to us. They do heal 1, but he doesn't get rushed because they're at 3 life now. And he doesn't attack into us either. So, you know, because they'd only have 1 attack into us. I think he should have though, right? I think he should have attacked into us. That way his next turn, he would have been able to go for lethal at us since we don't have any blockers. But we take the Gum Giant here, right? Well, we draw into the... We take the 2K and then draw into the Hell's Judgment. I would have taken the Gum also. That would have been fine. But we swing for 9. They take. They want more cards. It would have been nice to have the pudding around this time, but that's okay. We swing 9 again. They take. We swing 9. They take so that they can cycle through their cards. Place 1 in life. 9 again. They counter out of this one. Of course. Okay, and then we swing for I think 7 here because we can get 2 active Dawn at the end. Or yeah, Red Rock the Port Gas D-Ace is a good option too. So swing for 6. Perfect. Swing for 6 again, but we Red Rock the Port Gas Ace here. We do Red Rock it. Touch 2. They counter out. They don't want to have to go to, you know, 0. So we bottom deck their ace. Gone. They only have 1 solid attack because they're going to want to play out a big body to heal. So we activate 2 Dawn. We're at 4 active Dawn. Perfect. We still have 5 bodies on board. Really strong, right? Really good substitution to what we had in the past. Now we don't use the ability here because we just go neg 1 in Dawn. So we use the Hell's Judgment. We use it on the Yamato and the leader. And then we counter 1K. right? So now he has to attach Dawn to his leader to be even able to swing at us. So we don't allow that. He plays out another big body, I'm pretty sure, which is the 10 cost Enel, and then heals because it has rush, and attacks into one of our characters, and we let it go. Attacks into the Rosinante, perfectly fine, let it go. 6k, take. Now we get another Doflamingo in hand, but we take the Gum Gum and then draw into the Gum Gum again. I think that's the safest bet instead of the Bagua. Swing for 9, they take, swing for 9 again. They take, now they cycle a card, we swing for 9. They counter out, they should at least, otherwise they do take. And they get the Buggy, right? So in turn, we did the math. They've got 5 cards in hand, and even if all those were 2Ks, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 15k, right? Even if they had the 0 cost event, they would still need to get rid of a card in hand. So good game to our opponent here. Can't counter out, GG's, right? So really good game. That just shows you the power of being able to bring out the Don Quixote package with the Sanji, because you develop bodies real quick. Now, let's go into our next game. Okay, everyone, this will be our second to our last game. It's going to be against Buggy, alright, Blue Buggy. Buggy's a decent deck. I have no quarrel with it. I just don't think it's A tier per se, or even top of B tier, you know, but still, decent deck. So, we go ahead and mulligan. I mean, I think we keep this maybe, since we're going second because they chose to go first. Yep. So we keep this because we got the Thunder Bagua ramp option, and we also have the Don Quixote package already, right? So they pass it to us. They don't play anything. We pass it back. We can't really ramp with anything right now. They attack into us. We take because we want to use the Thunder Bagua next turn. So they pass it back to us. I think we play out the Zoro here for sure. If not, we can also ramp with the Gear 2. But I think we're thinking we're going to save 2 Dawn for the Thunder Bagua. And I think that's why we pass it back over. Yep. We pass it back over, waiting for them to attack into us. Yep, they swing 5. We do the Thunder Bagua, gain 1 active, and then give them a 1k with the Zoro. And they pass it back to us. They didn't really have anything on their 5 Dawn turn, weirdly enough. I think that's weird. I think they did. I don't know if this person was really good at using Buggy, but you'll see why I say that in a second. We go ahead, play out the Rosinante, I'm pretty sure here. So we're at 7 Dawn and we can gain 2 active. Why not use it, right? We trash the God Thread to draw 2. Perfect. 2 Sanjis, 2 2 Doflamingos. Attach 2. We should attach 2 here, but we end up attaching 1. Swing for 7. They take. They're at 4 life. We're at 2 life. We activate 2 Dawn. We have 3 Dawn. Perfect. 1 for Hell's Judgment and 1 for Gear 2, if really needed. They play out the 5 cost or the 6. What is it? The 7 cost Buggy here. That plays out another character. Swing for 7. We counter out. No need to go low in life. They bring out the 7 cost Buggy. Play out a Mihawk. Yep, 7 cost Buggy into a Mihawk blocker. They draw 2, trash 1. They trash 1, pass it back to us. We're at our 8 Dawn or 9 Dawn turn now, I think. I think this is the turn I was thinking. I think this is another game where I maybe tried to do a Sanji, blind Sanji, but we'll see. A better option, yeah, this is the other game where I tend to do blind Sanjis just because I think it's fun. And it's like kind of like gambling, right? So degen, but we get the Usohachi here. I think the better plan would have been, the better deal would be to use the Doflamingo, right? Just so you have another body on board, or even the Nami to set up the Doflamingos. But, you know, it is what it is. We play out the Sanji. We don't get anything on top. We decide not to play it out because there's nothing to rest, and plus it's a 2k that we can keep in hand. Swing for 6, and I think we keep the, we don't swing for 6 here just so we can keep that really good effect. Now we have 2 Dawn for Hell's Judgment. The Sanji's peel off, draw 2. Lots of cards in hand. Really would like to putting that, right? It's always fun putting someone who has a huge hand. Swing for 6, we counter out of this. They don't swing with a Mihawk. I think they play out the 10 cost Buggy here. Oh, they do swing with the Mihawk. We Hell's Judgment it. Might as well. It's perfectly fine. We don't want to go to 1 life. And they play out the Mihawk. not the Buggy yet. So they do play out the Mihawk. That's perfect for us because we do have a Gravity Blade, and those are 2 6 cost blockers. So perfect hand. We take the 2k, set up for our next turns, get the Gum Giant first, bottom deck both blockers. Perfect. Swing for 7, and then swing 8 with the Rosinante. They counter out. Swing 8 with the Rosinante. Perfect. They counter out also, weirdly enough. 9k, they're at 4 life. I don't know why they wouldn't take that, but activate 2 Dawn at the end of our turn and pass it back over. So we have the Gum Giant to save our Rosinante if needed, and 1 2k. So that's 6k total in counter. They play out a Searcher. Mr. 3, they get the Buggy, the 10 cost Buggy, right? That bottom deck's one of ours. They play him out, alright? So they use the 4 cost event that returns a 7 cost or less back to our hand. I forget what it's called, but they return the Rosinante to our hand. Great, because we have a Doflamingo coming up on our top deck, and we have the Sanji. So we're just going to put 3 bodies on the board in 1 turn, right? Then they play out the 10 cost here to get rid of our Sanji, but then in turn they get rid of their big body. I'm not sure why they would do that, but it is what it is. We take the Nami, draw into another Nami for a 1k, and then use the Sanji, play the Doflamingo, and then the Rosinante. Trash, no events needed to trash. We swing for 7, activate 2 Dawn at the end of our turn, and then pass it back over. So we just developed 3 bodies in 1 turn. Easy. They use the 7 cost Buggy again to bring out another Mihawk, another blocker Mihawk. That's perfectly fine. They do a search. I think they take the 10 cost Buggy here. Oh no, they Crocodile and Mihawk, right? Trash 1, draw 2, trash 1, and so they pass it back to us. We have 3 2ks on top. That's perfectly fine. We take one of the 2ks and they give up here, right? And I think it's because they knew that it was just game. No reason to continue on with that. They had 1 card in hand, and that was the Buggy card, and I don't even know what that one does. I think it's from the starter deck. They had 0 cards, 1 blocker. It would have been GG's anyways, so GG to our opponent, of course, and let's go on to the last game. Okay, everyone, we're in our last game. It's going to be against OP12 Koala. Now, Koala, you know, you play big bodies, they take life, so I wanted to showcase this game because I thought it was very interesting. And I think most of the time, if you get the right cards from Koala, you can definitely beat a UP Luffy, especially post-ban, right? Which is what this deck is. And, you know, we'll just get right into it. They go ahead and choose to go second, so they give us first. We mulligan our first hand because there were no ramp options, and even now we still don't have any ramp options, so we start with a really bad hand. Pass it back to them. They do a search. They take the Captain's Assemble here to do another search. They draw into the Karasu, okay, and pass it back to us. So, use our card action, attach all our Dawn, swing for 9. They take. No reason to lose cards this early. Okay, so they do take, like I said they would. They do a search again. Captain's Assemble. Sorry, hold on. Okay, so they draw and get the Emporio Ivankov blocker, which they play out. Okay, we use our card we don't use our card action. We are on 5 Dawn. Play out the Nami. I think we placed the Doflamingos on top, so we're able to play them out with the Sanji. The problem is we weren't able to ramp at all. So like, it won't be for a while till we get into them. So we put the Doflamingo and then the Nami on top. So we can use the Nami again on top if we don't ramp next turn. Swing for 6, they counter out. It's their turn, they're on their 6th Dawn turn. They play the Karasu out here. They swing for 6, attach the last Dawn that they have, and then I think we counter here. 2k, perfect. Now we're on 7 Dawn only, that's the problem. We do play out the Nami again, and we put the Doflamingos on top for sure, because then next turn, we can know to use the Sanji since we'll be on 9 Dawn, I think. Yeah, so we put both Doflamingos on top, swing for 6. They counter out of this for sure. Yep, and then we pass it back over. So we have 2 blockers on board. We weren't able to ramp at all. We're gonna be on our 9 Dawn turn next. They use the Sanji. Weird tech there. They use the ST14 Sanji to KO one of our blockers, and then they do a search. They search and get the Bartholomew Kuma, the 6-cost healer, of course. They attach the rest of their Dawn they should at least to their Koala, swing for 6, we take. Okay. And they pass it back to us. Now, we know that there's another Doflamingo on top of our deck because we put 2 of them with the Nami. So now in this turn, we're going to develop 3 bodies. Really good, really good. Play out the Sanji, deploy. They use their ability here. We have to take a life. We get the Red Rock. We return 1 Dawn, bring out the Rosinante, trash 1 card. I think we get rid of the Thunder Bagua here to draw 2 more, right? Perfectly fine. We swing for 6. They block out of this, I think, or they counter at least. They might take though for more cards, but they do block, And we activate 2 more Dawn at the end of our turn. Now when they attack into us, we can use the Doflamingo's ability to rest 1 Dawn and get 1 active Dawn. They swing into us for 6. We use the card action, of course. Now we're at 9 Dawn again. Counter out with the Zoro. Okay, they attack into us with the Karasu for sure. We have to trash 1 card because of it. Yep. So we get rid of the Rosinante and counter out with the Rosinante. I think we should have kept that Rosinante, to be honest with you. No reason not to. Especially because we have the 8-cost Dofi on our board, and that's 3. That's 2 Rosinantes in the trash, and we have 1 on board, so we're only going to come across 1 more, right? Anyways, they still have 10 Dawn. I think they play out the Dragon here if they have it. If not, the Kuma that they got to heal 1 maybe. It just depends what they're thinking. They swing for 7. Okay, we counter out with the Gear 2. Perfectly fine. And they come out with the Nico Robin instead. Looks like they didn't have the Dragon, because otherwise they would have Dragoned and then Robin in their trash, right? So with this Robin, the 6 costs, they trash 1 and we trash 2 cards. So we get rid of the Rush Luffy and the Doflamingo. Keep the Red Rock to get rid of the blocker, that pesky blocker, Gum Giant, and a Sanji. Okay, so these are card action. Take the 2k. I think we put the rest on the bottom. If not, we leave the... Yeah, we put the rest on the bottom for sure. So we use the Red Rock to get rid of that blocker. Attack into their bodies on board, so they lose either cards in hand or just lose bodies on board. They take this one. Otherwise, it'd just be a waste of cards because I have 2 more bodies coming. So they counter out. Swing again. I remember this. They counter out again with the 1k Waxing Fist. Okay, so it saves that character. We attach 2 Dawn to Rosinante, swing for 6, 7, 8, yep, and then swing for 8 again to the Sanji. Gone. Now they have no more bodies on board. Still at 3 life, that's fine. We activate 2 Dawn for our Gum Giant, and now they finally heal with Akuma. But in turn, they have to trash 1 card, so they're literally at 1 card, no blockers, nothing. They swing into us for 9 with the rest of their Dawn. They swing into the Rosinante. I think we Gum Giant this. We could block 2, but I think we Gum Giant this. Yep, trash the Rosinante. So that's, this is our last Rosinante on board. We're not going to get anything else. You could potentially go for lethal next turn, I'm pretty sure, but, I think we play it safe also. So they have 4 life, 1 card left. No Dawn, they pass it back to us. We get the Rush Luffy here, draw into it at least. Or we play it out with the Sanji just in case, right? So we draw the Gear 2 and then leave the Luffy to where we can play it out with a Sanji. But we swing for 6. They take, or maybe they have a 2k in hand. I forget. They take. Swing for 6 again, and they just give up here, right? So if you really think about it, they have 1 Searcher coming up and 1 Waxing Fist. So it wouldn't have helped either way because the Nico Robin's counterless and they drew into a Sanji too, which is counterless. They only had 1k. We would have swung for lethal and it would have been game. So 9, 9. Actually, swing, they take 9, 9, 9. They don't have any more counter. We play out the Rush Luffy with our Sanji and then we get game. Yeah, that it would have been game either way. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is another take on the Blue Purple Luffy post-pairing ban, sorry. And it's decent, right? It's really reliant on the Doflamingo package to be able to play 3 characters out at a time. And that's perfectly fine. I think it's great. I still think there's room for improvement in this deck. There's a formula we're missing here, right? And I think it's in the mid-range kind of cards. And I think I'm gonna do more testing on a deck list like that, because I do think this deck can shine. The leader ability is just amazing. Yeah, but we'll get into that in another video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.